Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. In this very fruitful session today, I am going to talk about Sebi Grade A Exam 2023. As you are already aware, we have done various sessions to tell you about the expected dates, how we are going to help you prepare for this exam. The expected dates are in January. So we have launched a 100-day program to help you prepare for this. And today in this session, I am specially going to concentrate on one of the subjects covered in your paper 2 in Sebi, which is commerce and accountancy. So this is the subject that many of students are scared of, specifically non-finance students, and they keep asking a lot about what type of questions are there, what should we prepare, how we should prepare. So this session is specifically focused for that, in which I am going to talk about the entire syllabus of Sebi, specifically what is the syllabus of commerce and accountancy, what have been the past trend of questions for commerce and accountancy, and I will also discuss the last 2 years of questions of from this particular segment and what can be your preparation strategy in that respect. So before I start, I am again telling you about that we will be starting our 100 days continuous 100 days live classes from the 5th of September, and before that, tomorrow 31st of August, the first session I will take from 31st till the 3rd of September, specifically focusing on subjects of accounts, costing and Companies Act. This is being done specifically for non-finance students who are scared of these subjects. So to tell you the nuances of this, what you should focus on and why you should not be scared at all. So all these aspects also I will be covering in these sessions with the students. And as of now our courses are available. We know this is Ganesh Chaturthi, and on this auspicious occasion we are offering all our courses at a 52% discount, and these are at the old rates. We will be revising our prices from the 1st of September, so you can avail the benefit if you want to be part of this. So let's start with today's session now. So if I talk about the entire syllabus, and this is the paper 2 syllabus I am talking about, and this paper 2 is common in your phase 1 and phase 2 both. So you have to study this in detail and well, so as to be able to clear both your phase 1 and substantially be up in the merit list for phase 2, and these will also be helpful in your interview. So overall you have to prepare 6 subjects. There is commerce and accountancy. So we have commerce and accountancy here, we have management, we have finance, we have costing, Companies Act and economics, right? So today specifically I'm going to talk about commerce and accountancy. So let's have a look at the commerce and accountancy per se. Here also they have given 6 sub topics overall for your commerce and accountancy topics. Right now, first one is like very simple. It is the basic level where you are understanding why accounting exists, what is basically accounting, what are the rules, how it is useful, why it should be useful, where all it is used, and all these rules of accounting. There are certain conventions and concepts, we say, accounting principles that one should be aware about, right? So understanding accounting as a subject, its utility, its necessity, its objective, and its usefulness. So understanding all that is of the first topic, and if you understand these aspects, it will be very easy for you to get comfortable with accounting as such. Okay, so that is the first chapter all about. If we talk about the second topic, which is accounting standards, which are specific reference to certain topics that they have mentioned here. One is depreciation, inventories, revenue recognition, fixed assets, foreign exchange transactions and investments. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 they have mentioned here. So there are a lot of accounting standards, and accounting standards are what? They are the rules to help in standardization of how the accounting information is being reported by various companies. If there are no standards and everybody is presenting the information as as per their own whims and fancies, then it will be very difficult to compare, to understand one company from the other, right? Therefore, there are certain standards, and in India, these standards are given by ICAI. Okay, so the students who have studying finance in some aspects or done CA, they have studied this, they study as a part of the exams, and therefore they find it comfortable, and therefore the non-finance students think that this is so difficult that only CA people can do it. So that is an incorrect understanding of the whole topic. And the scare or myth has been created in the minds of people that this is something very, very difficult, right? You have to look at it the way that there are so many accounting standards, you have to study only 7 of them. Okay, so that is very important. Just a second. Yeah. So yes, that is very important to understand. Then we have another point of cash flow statement, fund flow statement, financial statement analysis, and ratio analysis. So basically, before this, you need to understand the financial statements. So when we are studying, actually we should study this. When we are studying, we should actually study this part and this part. Okay, we need to understand this part, how the financial statements, final accounts are basically your financial statements, right? So how they are structured, how they are made, and if you know about these, we will then be able to analyze them also, right? So we should be knowing how the financial statements are made and they are presented, what they mean. And specifically, they've not mentioned profit and loss and balance sheet here. They are the other two very important financial statements. So financial statements actually consist of 3 major reports. One is your profit and loss statement. Okay, then the other is your balance sheet, and then is your cash flow statement, right? So these three, how they are structured, how they are prepared, what they mean, that if you understand, and after that we go into understanding their analysis, how to analyze them. And one of the most important and widely used tools for analyzing is ratio analysis, and that is why we study this. Where is fund flow statement fitting in? Fund flow statement is not a compulsory statement to be made, but it is made by various agencies, various companies, to understand how the company, what are the sources of getting funds or capital in the company, and where all they are being deployed. So what are the uses, right? So there's another way of representing information to understand the movement of funds in an organization, right? So that is why we study this also, because it gives a good picture. So if we are talking about analysis, this statement is also very important for analysis purpose. Okay, so these two can go in tandem. They should always be studied in tandem with each other. Then there are certain important transactions. Now we are studying for, say, we know for Sebi exam, right, which is the securities market or the capital markets regulator. So the various kind of securities specifically focused on the shares related, all those shares, you should understand what are these different kinds of issues and equities, and how the accounting for them are done by the company, right? That's why specifically share related transactions related to bonus shares, rights issue, stock options, buyback securities have been mentioned here. Yeah, these are the different kind of transactions and ways in which the share transactions can happen in a company. Okay, so that's why these have been specifically mentioned. So again, you don't have to think of these two topics as separate, but together. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Actually, they are not 6, they are actually 4 topics that you have to study in this particular syllabus. Okay, so right, so let's now move on to how the questions have been in the past. So Harish, we will do sessions like these on different aspects, and as I said, we will be discussing all the syllabus points in the classes, so you may join that. Prashant, full analysis, okay, we have provided the full paper also. You can look at it also, and we will do a session again. We've done in the past, we will do again. Srijita, how many vacancies can we expect? We can definitely expect on similar lines as past, anywhere between 15 to 20 vacancies in legal also. However, these are irrelevant questions. I think we should focus on your preparation. If you clear it, you need one vacancy, actually not many vacancies. So everybody should focus from that aspect. I know you all are worried about when exam will happen, what the syllabus would be like, how many vacancies would be there, how much gap will be there between phase 1 and phase 2. All these questions worry. But they worry us when we are not prepared. When we are prepared, these become irrelevant. And that is what you should keep focusing on again and again and again. And that's what we will keep repeating till we actually pass on this message to the students, that do what is in your hands. Okay, now let's look at the trend of questions of commerce and accountancy per se that have come in 2020 and 22. Why am I talking about only 20 and 22 is because this syllabus, this pattern of exam for Sebi was introduced in 2020, when they introduced two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and paper 2 had these 6 subjects, right? So there have been 2 cycles of recruitment based on this syllabus and this kind of exam pattern, right? So both of them I have analyzed, both in 20 and 22. And if we look at the questions, how many questions had come? If I talk about this last recruitment cycle of 22, in phase 1 from commerce and accountancy, there were a total, so if I write the total also here, there were a total of 9 questions, and all these 9 questions were conceptual in nature, and there were no numerical, zero numerical that had come from commerce and accountancy in phase 1. But if we talk about phase 2, there were a total of 8 questions, and these are a total of out of what? These are out of 50. So in both the phases, you have total 50 questions, right? So any subject usually will have anywhere between 7 to 9 questions from a particular subject, right? So we have 6 subjects. So they are not equally, we cannot divide 50 into equally by 6. So anywhere it ranges from 7 to 10 questions from different subjects, right? And in commerce, in accounts and commerce, if we see over the years, it has been in the range of, again, 7 to 9 questions that have come out of 50. Okay, so first, these all things are very important for you to see the information right, because at many places, information is presented to you very incorrectly, which is why you get scared of things. But if you look at the information objectively, if you analyze the information objectively, there is nothing to be scared of, and there is nothing that cannot be prepared. Okay. Govind, expected, as we say, last 3 years there have been 80 vacancies approximately, and 80 to plus minus 20, I think plus rather than minus 20 vacancies in general we can expect in 23 also. Varun, for IT vacancies, as of now IT recruitment is going on in Sebi. They just finished their phase 1. Phase 2 is going to happen next month. In IT, now let's look at how the recruitment goes in for the current cycle, and then it will be better be able to predict whether IT vacancies in 23 will be coming or not. If again the recruitment is less than what it has been offered, like in 2022 how it happened, then they may well have to come up again. But if they are filled, maybe on similar lines they recruit again. So it will be decided after the current cycle. Govind, we have been stating the exam dates. Exam dates last week of January, phase 1, last week of February, phase 2. So notification somewhere early September, early January, or in the middle of December, you can expect the notification to be out for Sebi 2023. Arpit, will the pattern change? Unlikely. I will say unlikely. Usually when a pattern is picked up, usually the recruitment bases on that pattern for at least 4 years, right? So as of now, we have had only 2 years of examination or on this particular pattern. So it is unlikely that there will be a change in the Sebi pattern this year. Okay, so yes, I know you all, if you keep asking, and I can only request and advise you all to not get into unnecessary details, unnecessary questions here which are not in your control. Because whatever it will be, if you are anyways, this particular syllabus, the good part about this particular syllabus is that it is covering so many aspects that if there is any change, you will be in such a good position to adjust and adapt to it, that no other person will be, who is waiting for the notification, seeing the pattern and then starting to prepare. So the ball is in your court now, it is for you to hit. And if we keep asking these questions, it will not help. Sheldon, this is the first day of the course will be 31st. Tomorrow we will start taking the classes in our courses. Okay. Okay, so I will now move on to discuss this agenda, right? So there were these questions in phase 2 of 2022. Yes, there were numericals. There were total 8 questions. There were 6 of them were numericals and 2 were their conceptual questions. In 2020 phase 1, again in phase 1, there was no numericals. 8 conceptual questions were there. Very, very easy level. Okay, if I talk about, this was easy to moderate. This was again easy to moderate. Why? Although some people will disagree with me and say, it was very difficult, there were so many numericals, but they were simple conceptual numericals. They were not even numericals that you had to do huge calculation about. If you knew the concept, if you understood the accounting standard, you just had to apply the accounting standard and nothing else and do plus and minus. Okay, this was in fact very easy, not even moderate. And here again it was easy to moderate. So the paper is actually never been very, very difficult. Phase 2, some students found it difficult because even the statements were a little lengthy, right? So there can be different reasons for people finding it difficult. One, they did not know the concept at all, or they had not practiced enough to be able to quickly read the question, right? So those problems students might have faced. Otherwise the course questions were very straightforward and easy per se. Okay, so this is why I'm saying, because numericals, yes, in phase 2 there was an increase. If 2020, I will say, there was almost an equal balance between numerical and conceptual question, and phase 1 numericals till now at least have not come. I am not saying that they will never come in future, maybe they do come, but the whole point is you should objectively look at information. What happens is, we just see 2 or 3 questions, numericals have come, and we just start jumping into it, and without realizing that there are so many concepts also that we can study and we can score well. I have known students last year who missed phase 1 because they were only concentrating on preparing for numerical, and they were not able to attempt simple conceptual question. Not that they did not know, it was so unexpected for them that they couldn't come out of the fact that there are no numerical in the exam, and they actually did not clear phase 1 itself, and they were good students, right? So you have to make yourself adaptable to all kind of a question paper and not expect कि यही क्वेश्चन आएगा, यही मैं प्रिपेयर करूंगा, ये नहीं आएगा तो मैं परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकता. वो सिचुएशन हमारी नहीं होनी चाहिए कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में कभी भी. Okay, So Harish is asking how to improve personality for Sebi interview. Keep reading, keep practicing, keep speaking, keep an open mind. That was in the nutshell. Apart from that, techniques hoti hai, we can discuss in detail about that in some other session. But nutshell यही होता है, personality आपको सबसे पहले open mind रखना पड़ेगा. You should be open for all kind of possibilities and always focus on simple things. Simple things are the most difficult to get. हम jargons में फंस के रह जाते हैं, उन simple चीज़ों को भूल जाते हैं. Okay, so if I talk about now the trend in the topics, what kind of topics had come, right? So conceptual questions of phase 2 में, phase 1 में आए थे 2022 में. They were questions related to financial statements or the preparation and presentation of financial statements. There were basic accounting related questions, simple accounting rules से related या उनकी characteristics से related. राइट्स से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस थे, बायबैक मतलब शेयर ट्रांजैक्शंस, ओके, डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ शेयर ट्रांजैक्शंस, उनसे रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेश्चंस थे. एक दो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड से रिलेटेड भी क्वेश्चंस थे. न्यूमेरिकल्स कोई टॉपिक नहीं था. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट फेज 2 ऑफ 2022, the conceptual questions were mostly focused on the financial statements, the preparation of financial statements. So that's why I'm saying कि आपको analysis और preparation को separate topic नहीं समझना है. You should understand कैसे बनती है, क्या rules हैं, accordingly learn to analyze them also. Okay, so they are not different from each other. They are a little different, but they are not separate in the sense you have to study them in isolation. They go hand in hand. एंड जो टॉपिक्स न्यूमेरिकल्स के आए थे आपके अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड. ना आप बोलोगे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड में न्यूमेरिकल कैसे हो सकता है, वो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड को आपको अप्लाई करना था, तो एप्लीकेशन ऑफ दोज अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स, राइट. सो देयर वाज इन्वेंट्री से रिलेटेड था, रेवेन्यू रिकग्निशन से रिलेटेड था, फॉरेक्स से रिलेटेड था, एंड देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन ऑन रेशियोज कैलकुलेशन से रिलेटेड. फेज 1 में conceptual, that was the first year of this particular syllabus being used, and actually that time उन्होंने syllabus से तो पर से पूछा नहीं था, बहुत basic accounting knowledge जो कई लोगों को अगर वो practically भी use कर रहे हैं कुछ कुछ अपने खुद के tax purpose के लिए तो भी उनको आता होगा. ऐसे type के इतने easy questions आए थे in 2020 phase 1. In 2020 phase 2 again the conceptual questions were more or less around financial statements, and जो न्यूमेरिकल्स थे वो आपके डेप्रिसिएशन, फॉरेक्स एंड रेशियोज से रिलेटेड थे. तो यही आपके टॉपिक्स बनते भी हैं न्यूमेरिकल्स के लिए इन अकाउंटेंसी एंड कॉमर्स, राइट. सो दिस इज हाउ द टॉपिक्स हैड बीन. So you can see financial statements, both the preparation and the analysis, including cash flows and fund flows, is a very very important and has a good weightage in this particular exam. Okay, apart from that, even in your accounting standards आपका inventory, revenue ज़्यादा important हो जाता है, depreciation ये सबसे ज़्यादा important होते हैं. Okay, right. So Prashant, we will be doing separate sessions as I said for other topics also where you will be covering this. Okay, 2 marks less in phase 1 paper 2. Okay, so now I'm showing you some of the questions that came in the past. These are mostly from 2022, but you will be able to download an entire PDF of all the questions of commerce and accounts that have come in 2020 and 22 in both the phases, right. So these are approximately 31 questions. The full PDF is available and you will be able to download it from the description box after this session ends, right. So one of the questions that came in 2022, sorry, conceptual, this was related to intangible assets. Okay, which of this is an intangible asset, right? The correct answer is mining rights. Now intangible assets अगर आपको पता है और अगर आपको ये याद नहीं था, okay, so schedule 3 में although उन्होंने ये सब examples दिए हुए भी हैं कि क्या क्या intangible assets में include होता है. Okay, but agar say for example you did not study that or you did not remember the entire list, okay, but you know what intangible asset is. Intangible asset is, it's an asset but it is not visible, it's not physically you cannot touch it, okay, physically it is not there, but it is something that you own and it is providing some value, okay. So from this, what is it that you cannot see but exists? It is the mining rights. What is mining rights? It is the license or the right given to you to mine a particular area, okay, then this is given by the government, okay. So now physically you cannot have a right, you cannot physically see, but that exists, right? So that is an intangible asset. Every other thing you can physically see, it's tangible, you can touch it, you can see it, whether it is railway siding or it is land or it is plant or machinery. Okay, another question was, which of the following is covered under Ind AS 18? Okay, that now this relates to revenue recognition. So the accounting standard, what all it recognizes as revenue. Okay, so there are three. Now if you remember what those three are, then you will be able to see. Okay, so first one is related to sales, second one is related to services, rendering of services, and first is sales of products, right? And the third is related to your royalty income or your dividend income, right? If you remember that, you can very easily say that, you know, royalty is the correct answer here. All you need to remember is that this accounting standard relates to which aspect. If you remember this is related to revenue, then you will be able to solve this. Now this was a question conceptual related to the rights shares, right? They had not talked about the share transaction. They had just talked about that if a particular person is not exercising his right and giving it to somebody else, what is that terminology known as? Okay, the terminology is known as renunciation. Okay, so I'm renouncing my right in favor of somebody else. Okay, so that is the correct answer here, B. Now the question was, this was a simple conceptual question related to the first aspect, understanding accounting information and understanding accounting, right? So what kind of information, you know, accounting information is what? It is information that is giving details about the accounts or the financials of a company. So if anybody is giving me that information, what type of information it should be? It should be relevant, right? So that is the correct part. It should be reliable. If I cannot trust that, then what is the utility of that information, right? So it should be reliable. That means it should be trustworthy. Okay, it should be comparable, because if I am not able to compare from one company to another, like I said, if there are no accounting standards and everybody is following their own rule, then how will I compare? Then what is the use of that information? Because I will not be able to tell whether it is good or bad, right? So that should be comparable. Okay, accountability is, you know, the odd one out here. Understandability, because if we don't understand the information, again it is not useful, right? So accountability here is the incorrect answer. Now this was a question related to rules related to buyback of shares. What are the certain rules that the companies have to follow, and these are also given under the Companies Act. Okay, so before doing the transactions, companies has to ensure if they are going into buyback. So this correct answer here was, incorrect point was here D, which is, if a company is doing a buyback of shares, it is not allowed from the fresh equity. Buyback means what? You are buying your own shares from the market, right? That means you have surplus, or there are other reasons that because of which you are buying. Now if you are going to do that by issuing new shares, you are defeating the entire purpose. Okay, so that is not allowed. You cannot do a fresh issue of equity shares for the purpose of buying back shares. You cannot raise money so that you can buy it back. Okay, so it's conflicting. So that is why it should not happen. Another question was related to the capital expenditure. Which of this is considered a capital expenditure? Now capital expenditure is something which has benefits for more than 1 year. Okay, they are relatively non-recurring in nature. So correct answer is overhauling of a second hand machinery. क्योंकि second hand machinery में क्या होता है, उसको because आप सेकेंड हैंड मशीनरी को फंक्शनल बनाने के लिए उस पर जो एक्सपेंसेस कर रहे हो, दैट इज ओवरहॉलिंग कॉस्ट, राइट? सो दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन वन टाइम सो दैट यू कैन स्टार्ट यूजिंग दिस सेकेंड हैंड मशीनरी, एंड दैट इज वाई इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम रिपेयर्स एंड मेंटेनेंस. रिपेयर्स एंड मेंटेनेंस जो होता है वो रेकरिंग होता है, वो रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर होता है, लेकिन ये वाला एक्सपेंडिचर आपका कैपिटल होता है. Now this was one that came in phase 2. Okay, फेज 1 में तो न्यूमेरिकल्स आए ही नहीं थे, फेज 2 में न्यूमेरिकल्स आए थे. सो फेज 2 में इफ आई टॉक अबाउट न्यूमेरिकल्स, दिस वाज वन ऑफ द न्यूमेरिकल्स, वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. इंटरेस्ट कवरेज आपको कैलकुलेट करना था. इंटरेस्ट कवरेज क्या होता है आपको? EBIT बाय इंटरेस्ट. Okay, now I know what my interest is. I can calculate here 15% of my debenture. So this is indicating my interest, right? So this is 1,50,000 is my interest. Now I need to calculate EBIT. What has been given to me is net profit. Okay, so from net profit, first I can go back to find profit before tax by adding tax. So if I add tax to this, I will get my PBT, and then I add interest to this to get my EBIT. So this is how I will calculate my EBIT. Interest I know, and then I will use this formula to calculate my answer. The correct answer, you can please solve this if you know, otherwise we will be covering these aspects. It's not necessary that you be able to solve right now. It is, I'm just showing you how to approach and what type of questions have come. Okay, we will be of course doing these kind of sessions detailing when we are covering the topics in our classes. You will also find all recorded videos and notes and questions to practice. Okay, there was this another question was there related to the valuation of the closing stock. Okay, now the closing stock you had to calculate, and simple average method had to be utilized. Okay, so simple average is what you take the inventory of the cost at the beginning and the cost at the end, right? So what is my average cost? I purchased at 22 and I purchased at 20, so my average cost is 21. Is that correct way of calculating? Again, these kind of discussions we will do in our classes to tell you how to calculate the average and then how to calculate the closing stock. Will it be each point I will say and then I will subtract from the sold amount and then come at it, or will I calculate my units separately and my price separately and multiply to get the answer? We will do all such discussions, any kind of confusions that students face in the classes. So that was inventory related. This is another question that came in phase 2 last year in 2022, which was we had to calculate the profit from cash basis. Okay, now cash basis is something which whatever cash is the simplest. Cash आया तो add करो, cash गया तो subtract करो, right? Cash inflow you add, cash outflow you subtract. So we are just looking at the cash items here. Okay, and we don't care about the ones which are on accrual basis. Okay, so there are two concepts, accrual and cash. Accrual is everything that relates to a year irrespective of cash inflow हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है. Cash basis is irrespective of which year it is, cash inflow and outflow है तो I will consider it, right? So what are the cash items? This is cash, this is cash, this is cash. So I will consider this. This is plus, this is minus, this is minus, and this was simply plus and minus, and you had to get the answer. The correct answer is B here, right? So these are the questions, some of the questions, as I said, not all. I will not possible to discuss all the questions. You can download the PDF from the description box. All questions of 2022 and 2020, both the phases of commerce in one file, they are present with all the detailed answers and solutions. You can download, you can see, and then accordingly prepare. So when we take classes, these classes will focus both on concepts and numerical, not only just on numerical, right? And it will also focus on all the 6 subjects and all the 4 subjects of paper 1. So holistic preparation so that you unfold your potential and prepare holistically for the exam. So thank you everybody. If you want to avail this, tomorrow we are starting the first class for the foundation batch, and from 5th September we will start the full-fledged sessions for Sebi grade A 2023 preparation. If you want to know anything else, you can call on the number given on your screen or write us at hello@iexamb.com. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you everybody. That's all from my side for today. Suraj, you can go for the general stream. From banking and finance background you should go for the general stream. Hindraj, more than the number of hours, it is the quality of hours that you spend. If you even spend on a regular basis 2 3 hours every day, if you are a working professional, and on weekends give more time, full day, then you will be able to comfortably prepare. And that is the whole purpose, that you start well in advance, so that you are not after notification you get less than a month and then you are struggling. So but if you start well in advance, you can spread it out, your preparation well.